You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 19th of February. Gyanesh Kumar takes charge as India's Chief Election Commissioner. India criticizes Pakistan at UNSC, calls it global terrorism epicenter. And Nepali Parliament raises concern over students' death at KIIT University. And now, for all the details. Gyanesh Kumar, a retired IS officer of the Kerala cadre who has been an election commissioner since March last year, assumed the office of the Chief Election Commissioner on Wednesday. Kumar succeeds Rajiv Kumar, who demitted office on Tuesday after a 4.5-year stint in the Election Commission. Vivek Joshi, who was the Haryana Chief Secretary, also took charge as an election commissioner, filling the vacancy created by Gyanesh Kumar's elevation to the post of CEC. After taking charge, Kumar said, "First step for nation building is voting. Therefore, every citizen of India who has completed 18 years of age should become an elector and should always vote." Both Kumar and Joshi were appointed by President Draupadi Murmu on Monday on the recommendation of the selection committee, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, and Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi. Gandhi had submitted a dissent note as the 2023 law under which the appointments were made has been challenged in the Supreme Court. India on Tuesday lashed out at Pakistan, saying the former has been a victim of terror acts induced by Pakistan through outfits like Jaish-e-Mohammed. Speaking at a UN Security Council meeting chaired by China, India's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador P. Harish, also said it is a supreme irony when the global epicenter of terrorism pats itself on the back, claiming to fight against the menace. This comes after the Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar noted country's sacrifices in the fight against terrorism and emphasized the need for an international strategy that does not conflate legitimate struggles for self-determination with terrorism. Emphasizing that Jammu and Kashmir have been, is and will always remain an integral part of India, Harish stated that it is Pakistan that is in illegal occupation of parts of Jammu and Kashmir. Harish underlined that there can be no justification for terrorism regardless of its type, form and motive. A number of Pakistan-based terror entities are listed under the 1267 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee of the UN Security Council and are subject to freeze of assets, arms embargo and travel ban. China has in the past often put holds and blocks on proposals put forward by India and its partners like the US to blacklist Pakistan-based terrorists at the UN. In Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, journalists who dare to report the truth are not just being silenced, they are being forced into economic ruin. With delayed salaries, unaffordable healthcare and growing government suppression, they are fighting a battle for their very survival. A report.
Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir remains trapped in economic hardship, political suppression and severe neglect by the Pakistani establishment. Among the worst affected are journalists who risk their lives to expose the truth only to face intimidation, job losses and even enforced disappearances. Any attempt to report on government failures is met with swift retaliation, ensuring that only state-controlled propaganda prevails while the real issues of POJK remain hidden.
लेकिन आज़ाद कश्मीर पे मैं चंद साफियों को छोड़ के बाकी तमाम साफियों की जो है ना वो माली हालत इंतहाई नागुफ्ताबी है। मेरे समेत बहुत सारे साफियों को इलाज मुआवजे, बच्चों की तालीम, तरबियत, रिहाइश के हवाले से बहुत ही नामुसाइद हालात का सामना करना पड़ता है। मुख्तलिफ टीवी चैनल जो है वो उनका अच्छा पैकेज ज़रूर है, लेकिन वो भी 4-4, 6-6 महीने तनख्वाहें बंद रख के जो है ना वो अपने वर्कर्स को तनख्वाहें दे रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से वो इस अरसे के दौरान इंतहाई मुश्किल हालात से गुजरते हैं। और फिर महंगाई का ये आलम है कि एक चीज़ को अगर आप पूरी करेंगे तो 2-3 और चीज़ें मसाइल जो है ना वो खड़े होंगे। बच्चों की तालीम है, रिहाइश का मसला है, सेहत का मसला है।
The suffering of journalists reflects the broader crisis facing the people of POJK. Rampant poverty, a collapsing infrastructure and a lack of basic services have made daily survival a battle. The Pakistani government's blatant failure to enforce policies protecting journalists' rights, protecting mirrors its disregard for the common people. While the cost of living has skyrocketed due to Pakistan's crumbling economy, wages remain stagnant, and even basic medical care is unaffordable for most families. Yet, instead of addressing these urgent issues, Islamabad remains focused on suppressing dissent and silencing those who demand justice.
The United Nations has announced that humanitarian access in Afghanistan decreased by 17% in January 2025 compared to the same time last year. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reported that the decline in access is mainly due to the temporary suspension of 56 humanitarian projects last month. In its latest report, OCHA emphasized that the reduction in humanitarian access could worsen the living conditions of families in need. Afghanistan continues to face severe economic and humanitarian challenges with millions of people in urgent need of assistance. In January 2025, US President Donald Trump issued an executive order that immediately halted all foreign aid from the United States, including aid to Afghanistan. This decision has added further strain to an already fragile situation. The decline in humanitarian aid access, coupled with the halt of US foreign assistance, is likely to exacerbate the dire situation in Afghanistan. The international community must work together to find solutions to ensure that the critical support continues to reach those most in need. The Bangladesh interim government on Tuesday stated that its primary objective is to bring ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina back to the country for trial. Interim government head Muhammed Yunus' close aide Shafiqul Alam said that the calls for Hasina's extradition have intensified, particularly after a UN report on last year's July-August protest, which alleged that her government clung to power through systematic and deadly violence against protesters. He added that following the UN report and similar findings from human rights organizations, pressure on Hasina has significantly increased. We expect further pressure to build in the coming days. The Bangladesh government has formally requested India for her extradition, and our diplomatic efforts will persist. Our priority is to bring her back and ensure she stands trial in person. The people of Bangladesh demand justice, Shafiqul was quoted as saying by the Dhaka Tribune. The four-time Premier Hasina fled to India after a mass uprising led to her ouster from office. Dhaka has requested her extradition from New Delhi. However, India has not yet responded to the request. Lawmakers in both houses of Nepal's parliament have raised concerns over the death of Nepali national Prakriti Lamsal, an engineering student in Odisha, India, and have demanded diplomatic efforts to ensure the security of Nepali students. During separate parliamentary sessions, lawmakers questioned the circumstances surrounding Lamsal's death and called for a fair and transparent investigation. Lamsal, a third-year B.Tech student, was found dead in her hostel on Sunday evening. While both Treasury and opposition lawmakers united in demanding an impartial investigation, several opposition lawmakers also criticized the government's weak diplomatic stance, blaming it for the unsafe environment faced by the Nepali students in Indian institutions. Notably, after Lamsal's suspicious death, Nepali students protesting for a fair investigation were reportedly abused and beaten by the campus administration and security personnel. Taking to X, Nepal's Foreign Minister Arzu Rana Dioba stated that the ministry is continuously following up on the issue and its developments. She added that Nepal's foreign ministry and the country's diplomatic mission in New Delhi are working in close coordination to resolve the matter.
सरकारको कूटनीतिक असक्षमताका कारण त्यहाँ अहिले पनि असुरक्षा र अपमानजनक व्यवहार नेपाली विद्यार्थीहरूले सामना गर्न परिराखेको छ। म प्रकृति लम्सालको निधनका प्रति हार्दिक श्रद्धाञ्जली व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु र म सम्बद्ध हाम्रो दल नेकपा माओवादी केन्द्रका तर्फबाट उक्त घटनाको घोर निन्दा गर्न चाहन्छु, भर्त्सना व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु र सरकारको तीव्रताको पहल कदमीका लागि जोरदार माग गर्न चाहन्छु र मृतक प्रकृति लम्सालका परिवारहरूलाई न्याय दिनका लागि नेपाल सरकारका तर्फबाट उच्च स्तरीय राजनीतिक संवादको यथाशीघ्र थालनी गरेर समस्याको समाधान खोज्नका निमित्त जोरदार रूपमा माग गर्न चाहन्छु।
Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.